and welcome to yet another brand new power-packed episode of the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post with me, Chaiti Narula. We're here at Kranji in Singapore where all the racing action is taking place. The Royal Western India Turf Club for the first time sponsored an international event, and the chairman of the RWITC, Vivek Jain, was here at Kranji at Singapore for the unveiling of the trophy. Let's take a look at the story.
For the first time, the Royal Western India Turf Club sponsored an international event, and the chairman of the club, Vivek Jain, was at Kranji on the 29th of July for the occasion.
The RWITC in Indian racing must get greater recognition in the international arena. We have been very much localized within India, and these are the first small steps to get the name recognized at some of the top racing centers of the world. I was happy that Singapore Turf Club readily agreed for us to present this cup, and they have likewise agreed to present their own trophy at the Mumbai racing season. As you're aware, we plan to start simulcast of their racing in Mumbai, hopefully in a few months, which will be a big step towards further cementing the relations between the two clubs.
With 11 contenders in the lineup, the mantle of favoritism fell on the shoulders of the Leslie Gu-trained Wartime. Wartime had run second on debut, and with Venezuela on board was looking to step out of maiden ranks here. The Great Grey from Stephen Gray's yard had run close on his last three starts and had Basta in the saddle to bring him home, while Greg Sheen took the ride on Pat Shaw's charge Super Victory. The field also included the Yusuf-trained Dragon, who had Beasley in the saddle and who had narrowly failed to get up last time out. 1600 metres on the turf. As the starters set them away, it wasn't long before the favourite got out to the lead.
They're second last and last respectively, and away nicely here in the early part is the favourite Wartime. He's got Super Victory moving up on the outside in second spot at the 1400 metres. The Great Grey is handy today, and Mars improves in the white colours near the inside. About 2.5 Musashi Mambo, followed by Host the Nation. A length and a half away Dragon, followed by K-Tronic at the 1200 metre mark. Then there's 2 lengths away to Dreammaker, and a similar margin Faithful Warrior last of all. Well, Wartime bowls along in front here for Venezuela, and he's getting a nice run at the head of affairs, leading out by 2 lengths. Super Victory in a second spot. Mars third on the inside. Host the Nation fifth on the inside, followed by Musashi Mambo. 2 lengths away then K-Tronic. Dragon in the back half of the field in the black colours, and 2 lengths away Dreammaker, and Faithful Warrior just losing contact there, about 3 lengths away last of all. But a big striding Wartime. He races up towards the final turn with 650 metres to go. A length and a half to the good of Super Victory running second. Mars back third. Then came the Great Grey, who pulls out to issue his challenge. Musashi Mambo, followed by Dragon, who's tracking him into the race. Dreammaker, and further back Host the Nation. Wartime led. They've got about 400 metres to go. Super Victory, the Great Grey's running on well, and Musashi Mambo's running a race, and here comes Dragon out wide, unleashing a burst. The Great Grey races up to Wartime, who kicks on the inside. They've moved a length and a half in front from Dragon out wide, then Musashi Mambo and Super Victory, but Wartime, he fights the Great Grey's almost on level terms. Then Dragon a couple of lengths away. Wartime the inside, and the Great Grey. Wartime, he's fighting hard, and he's going to come back and win it. Gee, Wartime, big effort to hold off the Great Grey, who looked as though he might have had his measure, but it wasn't to be.
But he's battled well all the way to the post.
Oh yeah, it was. We went very slow on the backside, and I thought, Super Victory gonna hook me, the whole way, and he let me, dictate the pace. I dictate the pace very slow. So turning for home, Bassett comes up and I hook him with me. My horse, I got a plenty horse with underneath, so he's still going and going and going and going. Every time he tried to get close, my horse put the head, in front. So I just did a medium hand ride. So I think he's very good for the long distance.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He battled hard all the way to the winning post. What's next for him?
Usually I'll try to bring him up to a longer trip, and maybe hopefully next year he can die the Derby. So I think he's a genuine stayer.
Wartime is a son of Dhanasingha, and Vivek Jain gave away the trophy to the Jubilant Connections. The same afternoon featured races by Moonee Valley Racing Club in Australia, the South Australian Jockey Club Trophy, and the Brisbane Racing Club Trophy.
Indeed, this day marks a very important day for the Royal Western India Turf Club. On that note, let's take a quick break right here on the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. When we come back, we take a look at the story of trainer Stephen Buridge here at Kranji. Welcome back. You're still with me on the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. Now, on this weekend's Get to Know Your Racing Professional segment, we've got trainer Steve Buridge, who talks to us about his racing career. Take a look. On this weekend's Get to Know Your Racing Pro, we've got with us trainer Steve Buridge, straight from Kranji at Singapore. Steve, so good to have you on the show.
Thanks very much, Judy. Thank you.
So last Sunday itself, you had a great victory. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I had two winners, which put me on top of the premiership table. So it was nice to be able to get there. How long I'm going to be there, I don't know. But yeah, I won with a big, probably the biggest horse in Singapore, the Big D. He's 625 kilos. He's a very big horse, and he won the Class 4 1200 metre race. And the other horse I won with was a horse called D Creator. He was only having his second start. He ran second first up, and he won the other day, which I was very happy to win with, because it was the first winner for a new owner in Australia, Mr. Sean Buckley. So, and he's a prominent owner, and hopefully he'll bring more horses to Singapore.
Take us through your career journey. What prompted you to become a trainer today?
Well, I first started off as helping my father repair some stables, which was for a horse breaker back at Flemington. And he's actually clerk of the course at Flemington and has been for about 40 years, Mr. Johnny Patterson. And Dad was repairing his stables because he'd got new stables, and that was my first introductory. And from there, I was riding his ponies, and then when I turned 14 and a half, I decided I would like to be an apprentice jockey. So my father, who'd been a jockey himself, introduced me to a local trainer at Flemington, and he was a very good trainer, Jim Surkey. And I went with him when I was 15 and did a 5-year apprenticeship with him till I was 20, and then I finished off my apprenticeship with another trainer, Pat Burke at Flemington. So from there I graduated to be a jockey, and I rode for about 25 years as a jockey in Australia. And at different times I'd travelled overseas to Asia. I'd been to Singapore, Penang, Ipoh. I'd more or less, in those days we had a circuit, so I did the circuit in Asia. I returned home, and at the age of about, I think I was about 34, I decided to go to Macau. There was a new track in Macau that opened up, and I decided to go there, and I went there for 5 years. I had a good bit of luck there. At the age of 39 going 40, I decided, a trainer that I was riding for in Macau decided to come back to Singapore to train. And he said to me, would I like to come back with him and perhaps sort of go as an assistant to him. So I came back, I decided to come here, hang up the boots and become an assistant, which I was an assistant for him for 2 years in riding track work as well as being an assistant trainer. And then at the end of 2 years, he decided to go back to Macau. And another trainer came from Melbourne up here, and I teamed up with him, Mick Kent. He was a very successful trainer, and I did 18 months with him, and then I got the offer to go up to Malaysia and be an assistant to a leading owner up in Malaysia. So I decided to go up there with my wife, and we went up there for 9 years, and I had a great deal of success up there, being an assistant. And at the end of that time, I decided to come back to be an assistant to a guy that I used to ride for in Australia, and he was actually best man at my first wedding, John Sadler. And when I came back here, he was only here about a month, and because things in Dubai, everything's paid for, he was coming back here and setting up, and in setting up he had 3 children going to school, and in that, with 3 children going to school in Singapore was quite expensive. It just happened that the secretary of the Singapore racecourse had retired, and a new man walked in, and he thought that a bit of new blood should have been coming into the training ranks, and there was another trainer or an assistant like myself, Brian Dean, who was an ex-jockey, and myself, and we were, he thought that we should have been promoted to trainers, and it just happened that we were here at the right time, and we got promoted to trainers. And I've been training officially now for about 7 years. I was able to win probably, one of the big races I won was on when the Queen was actually here, and I got introduced to the Queen. I won the Queen Elizabeth Stakes with a horse called King and King. I've gone on to be able to win the Singapore Gold Cup with a horse called Risky Business. I happened to win the premiership, the Trainers' Premiership in 2010, which at the time didn't sort of you know, I was just very happy to win it. But now I look back, it was it was very exciting to be able to win that, and I'd like to just be training winners and maybe travel a bit of go a bit international.
You mentioned so many of your achievements. Which one are you the most nostalgic about? Which one do you look back and you've got a drop of tear into your eye?
Probably winning the Queen Elizabeth Stakes with the Queen here. You know, had it been the Queen not here, probably it would have just been a nice race to win. But to win that when she was here, and you know, whether she ever gets here again, and she hadn't been here for 20 years, it was quite exciting.
Steve, did you always want to be a trainer? If not a trainer, which other profession did you see yourself in?
Never really wanted to be a trainer when I was riding. I just thought it was a bit of a mug's caper, only because you work 7 days a week, and as a jockey, because you work 7 days a week as an apprentice and then become a jockey, I thought, no, I don't want to train. But when it boils down to it, you've got no education and you've been with horses all your life, and once you've been a jockey, to walk away from racing is very hard. You do get an affinity to horses, and if you haven't got that affinity, you shouldn't be in the caper. So once I sort of gave away riding and looked into what I could be or what I couldn't be, I thought, yes, horses are something I want to stay in, and luckily I've been able to stay in it, and I've had a great deal of success.
Steve, let's discuss the benefits of owning a horse here in Singapore.
Look, to own horses here in Singapore, I think is very beneficial, especially for owners in other parts of the world, especially like places like Australia. You know, to get a really good horse over there and to get to the top bracket, you know, that's where the money is. But to sort of just go around and own horses to win in the country, as far as Australia and New Zealand are concerned, the prize money's not the greatest. And yet the type of horse that can win in those places can come here and be quite and can be, you know, can race in the better class of races here, where the prize money is a lot better. And also the training fees here are probably the best anywhere in the world in comparison to the prize money. I mean, in owning a horse here, you race around and you get the winner and the last two horses in every race that we race in don't get the incentive, but every other horse gets a $900 incentive back to the owner, and when it automatically comes off your training bill. So it's a great incentive to be able to get that off your training bill, and as I say, the training bill itself is not over the top compared to anywhere else in the world.
Steve, would you advise Indian racehorse owners to come to Singapore and own a horse here in Singapore? How beneficial is it, and what is the difference between owning a horse in India vis-a-vis owning one in Singapore?
Oh, for sure. I think it'd be, you know, very benefit to the owner themselves, because the prize money is so much better, and the training bills I would think that would be a good bit cheaper in comparison, and also I think they would get a lot of benefit out of coming here, and we've already had a couple of horses come over from India. Saddle Up came over here and he won the Penang Gold Cup, but he also won quite a few major races here. But for owners to own horses, I think would be a great benefit, and I do think that it would be worthwhile for them to look into the prize money that they can get and the benefits of it. Mowat owns a horse here with us in the stable, and he's looking really forward to the horse coming on and perhaps you know, being a winner. I'm sure it will be, and hopefully it goes to great heights.
So on a finishing note, what ahead in your career?
What ahead in my career? To train plenty of winners, and perhaps, you know, maybe get a couple of horses that are good enough that might take me internationally and be able to win races overseas, you know. But basically to train winners for the owners that I've got here, and maybe new owners that may come into it. I've been very lucky with the owners I've got. They've stuck with me, and I've had a great deal of success with me, and I'm very happy, you know, that I've been able to sort of get to where I am with their help.
All right, thank you so much, Steve, for being with us on the show. Wish you all the luck in your endeavours going forward.
Thanks very much for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Trainer Stephen Buridge right there talking to us about the benefits of owning a horse in Singapore. Take a break on that note. When we come back, we've got lots more racing action waiting for you on the other side from India and from Singapore. Welcome back. You're still with me on the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. Time now for our weekly Kingfisher Trailblazers. This time now from Pune at the RWITC. Mahindra Malia with the story.
The FT Wadia Trophy Grade 2 was the highlight of Sunday's races at Pune. Silver Birch, who had a reasonably good stint in Bangalore, was expected to be in fighting fit condition. Manyata, who also scored an impressive victory in Bangalore, was in good shape as well. Neona, a maiden from 2 starts, was looking in pink of condition in the paddock. The Dr. M.A.M. Ramaswamy owned Supreme Minstrel was another one who was fancied quietly to win. As the 7-3-year-olds left the paddock, Silver Birch commanded the betting scenario at 11-10 against. Neona at 7-2 saw a rise on her court from 2-1 ante-post. The others were at lucrative odds. And as they straighten up for home, Neona comes in home first, clear by about 2 lengths in front of Anahi in second position. Silver Birch has dropped to the third and got a lot of running to do. On the outside there is Sun Salutations, 200 to go, and Neona is stretching out nicely, about 2.5 lengths in front of Anahi, who's not getting any closer. Then there's Silver Birch and Sun Salutations, but going for the line now, it's Neona now in the hands of Sandesh, scoring an impressive victory from Anahi, finishing up second. Then comes
Well, now the FT Wadia is a lead up to the Indian Classics, and generally the winner of the FT Wadia will normally run well in the Guineas later on in the winter. Now let's talk about Neona, who of course was absolutely a revelation. She's clearly a very different horse from the one we saw in Bombay. She's clearly improved a lot. She looked better balanced, and she just ran on really strong to the post. Admittedly, she was getting weight from the rest of the field, but she didn't look like that bothered her at all, in the sense that she looked like she'd carry more weight and beat them again. Now the only question mark in my mind is how much speed does she have. She showed plenty of speed. Ace should throw plenty of stamina in her, but at the end of the day she did show early speed, and I'd like to see her settle a little better. But having said that, she's truly the best filly I think we've seen so far in the classic crop.
Neona was smartly ridden by A. Sandesh and used the weight advantage to the hilt. She ran quickly to the front initially and matched stride with Silver Birch, and once they swung around the bend, Neona quickened well to romp home a very comfortable winner. Anahi put in a smooth gallop to be a commendable second, and Sun Salutations, after a string of disappointing runs, showed some spunk, ending a close third.
I'm sitting on bottom with filly, my horse, and Danger Horse also 8.5 kgs more than me. That's why I plan to go to the front and own pace, just the own pace. That's why I go to the front. I little bit saw the behind. All horses the pressure, all jockeys pushed the horses. I'm very comfortable. My filly is in hand. I'm only hand downs coming to the straight.
Time now for our Kingfisher International segment. This time around, we've got Magic Million Juvenile Championship from Singapore. Let's have a look at this race.
The Magic Millions Championship on the 29th of July was the finale of the series of Magic Million Juvenile races. The sponsorship which has adorned the racing calendar at Kranji has ensured a true championship series for the 2-year-olds.
We've been involved with Singapore Turf Club since 1991, so it's not just the last 12 or 24 months that we've been involved. It's been a long association with the Turf Club, and we recognise that Singapore is one of the biggest markets basically for Magic Millions and Australia and the breeders back home. So we've got to look after the clients here, and if we continue to look after, well, we're sure that you're going to get the best horses in Singapore for Magic Million sales.
To be run on the long course over 1200 meters, the Group 3 contest attracted a full field of 16 runners into the parade ring. Shane Barshiga saddled 3 runners, including the Grey Holy Empire, who was coming off an only start victory. With Alan Monroe on board, he was sent off at $76 at start time. Steve Buridge saddled Pit Stop with Chavez in the saddle. Pit Stop had won the Group 2 final leg of the Ozhorse Golden Horseshoe over this course and distance before running behind Super Good from Michael Friedman's yard. Super Good had won a novice on his previous start and had Basta on board to bring him home. 2 that were also fancied were Pat Shaw's Super Kenny and Leticia Dragon's Rising Empire. Rising Empire with Morera in the saddle had won just once from 4 previous starts but had never been far away, while Super Kenny had won the week earlier on debut in dominant style. With Voster on board, he was driven to the lead once they set loose from the gates.
Championship. And Golden Sandsteed and Super Kenny have both begun well. Flag of Command, Super Good and Yin's here. Away nicely with Holy Empire. Pit stop on the inside from Empire Bay out wide. Further back is One Smart Cat from My Guru. Oh, we've lost the rider there. Philanthropist has come off. And the rider back at the tail of the field. And it's Super Ready back centre field, followed by Harden Up. And further back behind those, then we had Rising Empire, Mission Empire a long way back with Hogwarts Express. And it looks as though Philanthropist lost the rider. Racing up towards the turn, and it's Super Kenny who leads the field. The 2-year-olds, they come around the turn. About a length in front, Yin's here, then Golden Sandsteed, Flag of Command. Further back in the race, then Empire Bay, Super Good. Out wide then came at the head the others, then Empire Bay from My Guru, Super Ready and Rising Empire, but Super Kenny led, running down with about 300 metres to go. About 2 lengths in front, trying very hard to run it down. There is Holy Empire, then Super Good on the inside, and here's Rising Empire who's coming with a strong run. It's Super Kenny who led. Rising Empire, pit stop getting out as well with Holy Empire and Super Good coming through. Rising Empire and also Holy Empire, they're going to fight the race out here. It's Rising Empire just in front, and he wins the Magic Millions. Rising Empire from Holy Empire and Super Good back in third, and then pit stop followed by Harden Up.
That is your big moment. You must be over the moon.
I am over the moon.
All right, let's go through the race. What are you thinking during the race?
I thought he ran very well during the race. Joe set him to the right position. He actually jumped out, and I told him take a little bit of cover if you can, because we were drawn badly. And I said from there, ride him for luck and see how we go in the race.
He's such a genuine horse. He's been improving all the time. We knew that he was going to show off a lot of potential once he gets a little bit of more mature, racing experience. He jumps pretty well today. I was able to get a cover from that bear. I had no choice. I had to come back with him and ride him for luck and try to get inside there. Once we passed by the last 600 meters, I just started to go for it, and he started to make a lot of ground. We turned for home. I got him on the outside. He just enjoyed himself out there and made a lot of ground, enough to catch the leader. So, well, the teacher has done a great job to get this horse so well prepared. I want to say thanks to her and to all of those people who are involved in it.
Leticia Dragon, who took over the reins from her father Douglas, did end up achieving her first group success with Rising Empire. Rising Empire is a son of Deher out of the Flying Spur mare.
That's all that we have for you on this weekend's episode of the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. I will see you again next weekend from Kranji at Singapore itself with all the racing action from all over the world as usual. Until then, may the horse be with you.